And good evening, my fellow vapers and my fellow smokers. Welcome to another episode of the Smoker Show right here on YouTube with my good friend, of course, my buddy, my brother from another mother, Mr. Phil Bissardo. What's up, Phil? You're going to see me in just a little bit before you complain. Before you complain, you will see me before you complain.
Okay, I can't see.
Go ahead. I
can't see.
What's up?
See, it says help your friends and family switch. Now there's you. There we are. Yeah. Hey, my friend, how are you? My God, I haven't seen you in ages.
Why are you frozen now? Now you're frozen.
Oh God.
See, that's what happens when you try to mess with me. All right, we're good. Go ahead.
Can I speak now?
Yes, you can speak now. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me?
Everybody
Is my volume good enough
Your
for
volume
everybody
is great.
tonight?
It's fantastic. It's synced with my voice.
All right. So what I was saying before was, my God, I haven't seen you in forever.
It feels like it's been years, hasn't it?
Yeah, at least 2 years.
You're gonna have to excuse me. I'm fighting a really bad sinus infection, but I'm so dedicated to the show that I decided to go through with it. But I am very, very sick, and this happens when I travel. I've been on 3 flights already in the last 8 days, and I got 5 more flights from now until June 10th. But I'm fighting a sinus infection, and tomorrow I'm going to go to the doctor and get a Z-Pack and try to knock it out. But I'm a little bit under the weather. But aside from that, I'm glad to be back on and doing the show with you.
Well, I'm really glad to have you here. Was that like the whole crime? Everybody feels sorry. Everybody's put a little awe in the chat for Dimitri.
Everybody should. Before we get started, Phil, of course, we have to thank our wonderful sponsors, right?
We really do.
Why don't you get
would you like me to do that?
Please.
Inikin, of course, our friends over there at Inikin, Juno, Lunar Rover, use discount code. I like the discount code 𝗵𝗲 for 15% off. My Vapor Store, MTL10 is going to get you 10% off of platform products. We got our friends over there at 5 Pawns, Naked 100, and Joytech. Hey, did you see the Smoker Show Live banner thing that they have for the Germany show?
Which one? This one right here?
That one right there. How cool is that?
How prepared am I?
I know. You're a very prepared guy.
We're very excited for this, folks. This is the first ever Smoker Show Live, and this is going to be partaken, of course, at the Hall of Vape, 31st of May, 1st and 2nd of June of 2019 in Stuttgart, Germany. And, you know, I want people to understand that the Smoker Show, what is the purpose of the Smoker Show, right? What we have always said here, we're trying to help people, you know, maybe that can't relate to these vaping shows that are on YouTube, come over here and get some, you know, down-to-earth, easy to understand and explain information on electronic cigarettes. And if you've tried the available NRT methods like most of us did, like the patches and the gums, and they have failed, you do have another option no matter what your government tells you. But this, of course, is an experiment, which I think I want to thank Ira and his team there at the Hall of Vape for taking a chance and wanting to do this. And hopefully it'll become a trend and you'll see it in more shows as well, too. And I know that we've gone through this in the past and we've talked about, you know, shows that we used to crush packs of cigarettes and, you know, get a starter kit and all that. But have we ever followed up with them? Have we ever followed up with these people that left these shows to get some data, some real world data of what's happening? This is what we're planning on doing on the Smoker Show, right? So we want this. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You just keep talking.
No, what I wanted to finish my thought is that we wanted these smokers to come in. Yeah, there'll be 10, 50, 100, whatever's going to come into the Hall of Vape. We're going to have volunteers. There are German volunteer YouTubers and vapors that are going to assist them. We're going to give them a kit. We're going to explain to them what this chaos and the circus is they're about to see in the show. This is the largest show in Europe. And we're going to collect their email, and we're going to follow up with them as well, too. We want to get information from them after they leave the show. You know, not just for the visual, oh, we crushed the pack and we got a kit and we converted 250 people. Did you really? I mean, did we really know if these people have left just to go outside and light up a cigarette? And I think data is key for us to convert more smokers. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the good things with this show, too, because not only are we giving out starter kits, but we are inviting people to call in and let us know how they're doing with those starter kits, what's working for them, what isn't working for them, can we adjust? So data is very, very important to know what's working and what's not working. Yeah, Dimitri, I do have one complaint that I really want to get off my chest.
Oh, boy,
you did a lot of you took a lot of photos at FlavourArt, right?
Well, I mean, quite a few, as much as I could.
And you gave those photos to me. Now, I want you to see here what's going on after we get through all of these logos here,
Okay.
because I do have a complaint about the settings on your phone that we need to work on a little bit here, because
The settings on my phone.
settings on your phone, yeah. Because as soon as we get one of the photos that you took, naturally I'm with all the logos right now.
You should have timed it up a little bit before you, whatever skit you're coming into. You should have timed it a little bit better.
I didn't know. I didn't know that I was going to be with all the logos here. The logos should be gone. But see, what happened is you don't have your phone set to widescreen, 16 by 9, right?
Sometimes
So
I do.
What happens is there's a little gap here. There's a little gap here on all your photos, and it's really bothering me. So if you can, please change the ratio to.
I will work on that for our next trip for sure.
When you do take photos for me, they will cover the entire screen. There should be one coming up. Yeah, see, look at that.
Oh, okay.
See that gap right there?
Okay, so you want a portrait mode is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, that gap really bothers me. So
okay, maybe it's your TV. Have you ever thought about maybe it could possibly be your TV?
No, it's not my TV, because when I take photos, they go perfectly on it.
Are you sure? I do want to mention the telephone lines are open, and they're sponsored kindly by the Vaping Advocate magazine. The telephone line is 215-383-5752. That is 215-383-5752. Press 1 when you hear the British lady. That way I can see you on the switchboard and I can bring you in.
And speaking of the phone lines, if we do have anybody who wants to call in tonight, we would appreciate folks calling in early, because a little bit later on, we're going to get into some videos that we shot. We are going to get into some special guests who are going to appear tonight. So if you do have questions, if you would like to call in, earlier is better tonight, okay?
And good evening. I see some of the old faces are popping in from the DIY groups over there, and I'm very happy you guys over here. I probably know a lot of you, even though you guys have moved on. But we're very, very excited about the Make the Switch program, which we're participating in, and you're going to get more information that in about 45 minutes as soon as we have our guests, and we're going to cover everything. But we're very, very excited to be part of this project along with FlavourArt and with Wayne and with all the DIYers that are going to participate on this. It's just it's thrilling for us to see that some companies are actually thinking about back to the basics, which is something that we've been preaching out for the last year.
Not only back to the basics, but also very focused on conversions. And I think you're going to hear that from Richard. I mean, Richard, when I talked to him, and you'll see that in the video, I mean, he even mentioned that as an industry, we lost our way for a little while,
Correct.
right? We definitely lost focus on cessation. We lost focus on conversion. We lost focus on smokers. I think some of that is starting to come back now. But to have a company like FlavourArt and sponsor this, because DIYing is not something that I talk about a lot. It's not something that we talk a lot about on this show. And I think one of the main reasons why is because there's a lot of folks out there that say, well, you know what, I DIY. So if vaping goes away, I am never going to have a problem.
Right.
And you won't, right? If you think about it, all of us who are vapers, are we going to have a problem should vaping change? No. We can still go online. We know where to get our equipment. We know where to get our liquids. We'll always have access to it. But what about mom who's walking into a vape shop off the street, right? What about grandma who's walking off the street into a vape shop, right? She needs to have, and they need to have, and people need to have easily accessible products so that they can convert successfully too. And I think that's very, very important. But the DIY community is also very, very important, because one of the things that you see that we do on this show is we talk to people and we find out what they need, what they smoke, how much they smoke. And then we kind of think about what it is that we can send them to get them to quit. And then when they call back in and they say, well, this didn't work, and we adjust it. DIYers do this all the time for smokers. They do this all the time. A lot of the times it's behind the scenes, but they're really interested in creating that flavor to get that person off of a cigarette as well. So that's one of the reasons why we're really excited about being part of this Make the Switch program.
Yeah, and I understand that there's a lot of people, that were kind of forced in DIY as well, too, because of the limitations of nicotine and some of the stuff that we're seeing in the market. I mean, right now, if you walk into any vape shop, you're going to find 0, 3, and 50, right? There's nothing in between. It's 0, 3, and 50. And I know from the MTL groups that I'm in and the DIY groups that I'm in, I see a lot of them were forced to start DIYing because they couldn't find liquids anymore in the market. Very, very few websites carry 12 to 18 milligram selections, which it's an unfortunate thing that we're going through. Hopefully that will change. But and I'm putting my piece, and Phil's putting his piece in some of these companies trying to make a change to offer more 12 milligram offerings, especially to people that enjoy their stuff being made like I do. I can't DIY worth crap. but yeah, I think that a lot of people were forced to go in there, and it's unfortunate. But we do have the opportunity here with the Make the Switch program to focus on a segment, meaning the people that DIY that talk to smokers will have something to have a little bit more to draw them into the vaping side if they can't find what they want into a vape shop. Speaking of back to basics, we do have another trip that's planned May 22nd and 23rd. Me and Phil will be in Fairfield, New Jersey. We will be giving the Back to the Basics Vape Shop Seminar to the chain of Good Guy Vapes. Very, very excited. I think they have 45 stores combined, if I'm not mistaken. So we actually have to do this in 2 days because over 150 employees. I think we're going to break it down into 2 days and do the Back to Basics seminar for them. So first, though, I got to go to a BTS concert with my daughter in MetLife in New Jersey. So really, really excited.
How far away is that BTS concert? Because by the way, ladies and gentlemen, the BTS concert is like pretty much all I've heard from Dimitri. I personally think that he is a lot more excited about the other concert than his daughter is.
Yeah.
But what's the time period between the BTS concert and the Good Guy?
Well, first Tuesday, I'm going to Ohio to the Ohio Vapor Trade Association seminar conference. I'm a keynote speaker there Tuesday. I'm flying from Ohio Wednesday morning to go to Nashville, Tennessee, because I have a meeting with the Tennessee Department of Health, which I'm not very, very excited about. And then Friday, I'm flying up to New York for the concert Saturday night, which is the 17th, 18th, and the 19th. I will be in New York with my daughter. And then the 21st, I'm flying again to New York with you for the Good Guy Vapes seminar. And then
listen, you better antibiotic up, my friend. You better vitamin C up, because I don't want to deal with a sick Dimitri.
Yeah, and then the 27th, we're leaving for the Hall of Vape, Stuttgart, Germany. And then June 5th, we'll be in Madrid, Spain for the vapexpo Madrid. All right, we got a few phone calls here. Let's go ahead and take them real quick.
Good. And by the way, Thomas Kearsop, no, it's not BLT. That's they can let us
BLT. I wish it was BLT. I love a good BLT sandwich. 330, you're on the air with Phil and Dimi.
Dimitri.
Yes.
Oh, Phil. Oh, okay. I can't hear Phil on the other on the phone, but I wanted to get your. My name's Aaron. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, Aaron.
Okay. I have a technical question for you guys. I have a Zenith tank and I have a 𝗧 tank, which I love. On the 𝗧 tank, I have a 1.6 coil at 12 watts with 12 nic in it. And then on the 𝗧 tank, I have a 0.5 coil, 14 watts with 12 nic in it. Is it just me, or have you guys come across it kind of being like the same hit? Are they canceling each other out?
Interesting question. I find that the 0.5 or the 0.48 now plexus coil gives a little bit more warmth, meaning more heat, right? So I find that it runs a little bit warmer, right, especially for higher VG liquids. I find that I prefer that. Right. And I prefer the 1.6 ohm for 50-50 or 60-40. I use 60 PG, 40 VG sometimes in my 12 milligram as well too, or Nic Salt. I prefer to use the 1.6 because it's just a cooler vape, and I prefer a cooler vape for my menthol stuff. So is that the experience that you're talking about, or are you saying, I mean, look, if you take it mathematically, you're about in the same spot, right? You know, I mean, you raise...
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
Right. So the lower the resistance, once you raise that wattage level up, you're going to get to kind of the same spot voltage-wise, if you want to call it that way, between the 1.6 and the 0.5. But you shouldn't be able to notice that much of a difference except the heat, right, Phil?
Yeah, heat and maybe a little bit more. And I'm not talking about night and day more. I'm talking about a little bit more flavor from the Plex coil. Don't forget that Plex coil is capable of a little bit more wattage too.
Yeah.
Maybe up to 17 watts on the Plex coil. The 1.6 really maxes out at around 14 watts. You know, they're both very, very low wattage coils. They're designed that way for efficiency. But yeah, you're probably with those two liquids at those 2 wattages with those 2 different coils, probably about the same or a very, very similar vape.
Do you have a preference? Do you enjoy one more than the other? Can I ask you that?
Yeah, I'm actually enjoying the higher nic at the 1.6 at 12 watts.
Yeah, that's generally been the consensus, I think, between the 0.5 and the 0.8. Usually people run the 0.8 like 17 watts. They want a little bit more heat and a little bit more high VG liquid inside.
Yeah.
But I personally prefer the 1.6 when I'm mouth to lung and high nicotine stuff. I like the 1. I think Phil agrees with that. My wife uses the 1.6 as well too, right?
Yep, I typically vape the 1.6 or the 0.8 on occasion. But you know what? To be honest with you, I kind of like all of the Z coils pretty much evenly. So I tend to reach for what is in front of me and then adjust accordingly.
Yeah. So it doesn't make a difference which range you I mean which coil you put in there. You just adjust your wattage range to kind of get that similar experience as well too.
So you're thinking I could probably put the 18 in both of them and just have one that's a warmer vape and one that's a cooler vape?
Absolutely. Or if you have a higher VG, I would put it on the lower resistance than putting in the 1.6. The 1.6 seems to be working great with 50/50 liquids or the nic salts that are out there.
Yeah,
so.
I think the Plex coil has a little bit less cotton between the liquid intake ports and the coil itself. So if you are using something on the thicker side, I think that's the better coil to use. The 0.8 seems to be pretty good with everything. And then for 50/50, for a very, very efficient coil, the 1.6, especially for nic salts too, 1.6 lower wattages is kind of where you want to be.
I must say both coils last about a decade before I have to replace them.
Man, don't do that. Don't do that. We got
please.
families. I got bills to pay, brother. Buy a coil every week. Don't worry. It's $2. It's $2.
I can get about 3 or 4 weeks out of each coil.
Wow.
So.
That's okay.
Crazy.
That's all right, brother. It's okay.
That's really good. You know what?
Thank you.
Although you're getting that kind of time, out of a coil, just be aware, and especially for those people who have never built before. Okay, if you have built a coil and you go into your coil and you look at your cotton once a week, right, you will realize how gunked up things get inside that coil. Now, if you're a builder, you're able to get at the coil and you're able to look at it. If you just use replaceable coils, you really have no way to get in there and look at what's going on. But believe me, a really good rule of thumb, coils are inexpensive, guys, right?
Yeah.
A really good rule of thumb is once per week. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much, my friend, for calling in.
Me.
Appreciate you calling in.
All right, take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. I want to thank Hunter S. for noticing that I'm actually wearing an Inikin t-shirt. By the way, it's a 25X.
Yeah. we just got some new ones when we were in China and they actually fit. All right, we got another telephone call. Let's go ahead and knock these out of the way. 604. You're on the air with Phil and Dimi. 604. Don't be shy now.
604?
Yes.
Yep.
That's you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, of course. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
That's
okay.
my area code. Hi, Phil. Hi, Demi. It's Janine calling.
Hey, Janine.
I wrote into Phil a few weeks ago about my dear friend
Yes.
who is very ill from lung cancer. And I just wanted to call in tonight to please encourage anyone who is watching the show tonight who is a smoker and has thought about trying vaping to please, please, please try it. I tried desperately to help my friend a year ago. She smoked for almost 40 years, and unfortunately she was diagnosed with lung cancer 3 weeks ago, and it's not looking good. However, all the worry in the world is not going to help her, so what I am doing is concentrating on helping people who are currently smoking and really wish to try vaping. So I strongly encourage anybody watching tonight to please not give up. Please try. And that's about it.
Thank you so much, Janine, for calling in and sharing your story with us. And these are the kind of stories that people need to hear, because all they hear is these pharmaceutical-run government officials that are scaring people. This is the reason why I'm meeting with the Tennessee Department of Health next week, because they put an advisory that if I read it and I'm adult, I probably will not try vaping. I'm so pissed off about this, right? And these are the real stories that we hear day in and day out from emails like yours and messages on Facebook and messages on Instagram and Twitter that keeps us going, because this is the truth. If you cannot quit with what's out there right now, vaping could be a lifesaver to you. And the quicker that you do it, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, I appreciate the call. I appreciate the call, Ginny, and I'm so sorry to hear about your friend. But you know, this is why we have this show. Why we have this show is to show two relatively level-headed guys who are relatively mature and adult most of the time, right? Speak the truth. Maybe not from the hot tub.
Not from the hot tub, for sure.
Right. Speak the truth about vaping.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, and give people good information about vaping and show people that vaping is not just for young people. It's not just for people who are covered in tattoos and have ear gauges. Not that there's anything wrong with that. You know, I mean, I have been vaping. I'm coming up. July 7th is going to be my 10-year vape anniversary. 10 years vaping.
Wow.
I have never had a negative side effect from vaping. I've never had anything negative. But if anything, everything has been positive, right? My health has improved.
Absolutely.
My blood pressure has improved. I have not had a single upper respiratory tract infection since I have been vaping. You know what? They want to send me to the hospital and do a whole bunch of tests on me. Fine, I'll do it. But you know, I just wished more people would give this technology a chance and stop listening.
As do I.
Yeah, stop listening to all the negative nonsense that we hear in mainstream media and give this technology a chance, because it really could be a life-saving thing.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much, Janine, for calling in. We're going to keep doing our part, and you keep doing your part as well, too.
Thank you, Janine.
Thank you so much.
Hello to DJ LSB, who has said that I look sexier than Dimitri tonight.
Look, I don't know what happened to Daniel's hair, but I don't know what kind of phase he's going through. But it's kind of like a combination between emo, Hitler, and the Groucho Marx. It's like
he's always trying to reinvent himself, reinvent his videos, do cool things. And what am I stuck with? The same old Dimitri.
Maybe you should do your hair like him.
You should grow your hair. Well,
Sonia Marks, 5 months smoke free. Congratulations, Sonia, to you, and I hope you feel better and keep on going. Yeah, listen, you do have one negative side effect with vaping, though.
What is that?
Skechers. That's right.
Whatever.
Can't believe you embarrassed me like that in Canada wearing Skechers. What's the matter with you?
Since we were talking about Janine, and Janine is trying to spread the message of vaping, maybe we should talk about our friend Pam.
Absolutely. Let me bring this picture up real quick.
I can do it too, pal.
I can do it better than yours. There you go.
Look, it's done already.
Yeah, but mine looks better because it's text the whole screen. Don't you get it? No. But anyway, yes, we did have the opportunity to meet Pam. And if you remember Pam, we've talked about her here on the Smoker Show episode as well. She's done a lot of Smoker Show parties at her house where she invites her friends over to, learn more about vaping, and she gives them starter kits and liquids to get started. Thomas 𝗃 was kind enough to send her some liquids as well too. And she made the trek an hour and a half to come up to meet us, and I was very, very excited. We had a wonderful dinner, and we talked about vaping. We talked about all the YouTube reviewers. No, we're not going to tell you what we said. And in general, it was touching to me to get to meet her up close and to listen to her story.
Yeah, she just to let DJ LSB know, she did have nice things to say about you.
She did. Yes.
Not everybody else, but she did have nice things to say about you. And as far as her driving an hour and a half to see us, I think it was an hour and a half to see me. You were definitely kind of a slim bonus there. But it was really nice to sit down and talk with Pam. Hi, Pam. I know you're watching right now. We had dinner together. We invited her to dinner. And we talked a lot about vaping and her experience with vaping, and like how vaping was just an accident for her. She did not want to give up the cigarette. She didn't care about quitting, but she found vaping and she quit, and it was easy for her to quit. And now she's kind of in that like beginning like starry-eyed phase where like she's like kind of fascinated by everything, whether it be direct lung or mouth to lung or pods or building, which I think is really cool. I think that's really cool. And I know she had some concerns with nic salts. She's off of nic salts now, happily vaping free-based nicotine. So we had a really nice conversation with Pam. There was one thing that was a little bit concerning that Pam talked about. So Dimitri, you want to come back and let's talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. This really just kind of broke my heart. Her story is not, I don't think, ununique from other people that hear about vaping. I think a lot of the older people, like Phil, when he first heard about vaping, he wanted to do research, right? And he got online and did some research and look at the products and get some more information of it. And I think a lot of adults do that. It's different in 2010 than it is in 2019. In 2010, we had to do that through the internet, right? There was no stores, but now you have stores. So naturally what she did is she Googled her area for vape stores that were around her. And I kid you not, she went into 8 vape stores before she made a purchase. And what was the number one deterrent that these vape stores did not offer? They didn't have higher nicotine. They had carried 0, 3, and 6. And if anybody knows that nicotine is so vital, so important for people to make a switch, especially heavy smokers, that I mean, God bless her that she was determined to go through it and continue. Can you imagine if somebody like me that has very zero patience, I'd go to 1 and 2 stores and I'd probably give up.
Right.
Until she found Dash Vapes. Dash Vapes up there in Toronto. Shai does just a great jobs with his stores and carries all kinds of nicotine levels, caters to the very, very beginner all the way to the enthusiast in the vaping crowd. She sat there for 3 hours. Now, you know who you're hearing. You might be like, you know, one of these vape fan bros, like, I don't want nobody sitting in my store for 3 hours. I got stuff to do, whatever. But this is what people need. They need that one-on-one personal connection, answering all the questions that a customer might have, and then finding the right setup and the right nicotine level to pair them up to give them the best opportunity to succeed in quitting combustible tobacco cigarettes via vaping. And that's exactly what she did. She did not want to quit, but she got the right setup.
And my, you know, props to Mad Vapes, right? You have to understand.
Who's Mad Vapes?
Dash Vape, sorry.
I was about to say.
Yeah, you have to understand when a smoker comes into the shop, you know, I mean, a lot of people are going to be different, right? Somebody's going to want to go into the shop and say, look, I want to quit. Just give me something. I want to get out of here, right? But, you know, people like me, an analytical kind of person, right? When they're going to make a purchase, they want to know everything there is to know before they spend their money. And with vaping, especially something so let's call it serious, as serious as vaping. You want to get the right device. You want to get the right information. You want to get the right knowledge. You want to get the right e-liquid. You want to get the right nicotine strength. You want to get as much information as you possibly can. And it takes time. It takes time. So to know that there are shops out there like Dash Vapes that are willing to spend the time and ask the right questions to get somebody on the right road, you know, when it comes to vaping, that's good. That makes me so happy that there are still those shops out there.
And one important thing that Pam brings up is that they did not push her to get advanced gear. They just left her at her own pace. They deterred her from buying stuff that probably was not right for her at the time. Even though eventually she developed to be, you know, she builds. We actually tried her 𝗍𝗪𝗧, and funny enough, she builds and vapes pretty much just like me and Phil, as far as the nicotine level on the build is concerned. But overall, to me, it just goes to show you the determination that Pam had. Maybe other people don't have. So I just want to call out all these vape shops that don't carry these products, that think that there's no demand for it. There's no demand for it because those customers are not coming to your store, and smokers are not sending business to your store, and you're not getting any new customers. So I just want to call you out publicly and say you really need to rethink your business model. You're replacing the new smoker with CBD products. That's not good. That's not good. To subsidize the money that you lost from getting new customers, you think bringing CBD in is going to save the day. And listen, I don't have nothing against CBD, but I do still have a mission of still helping 40 million smokers in the United States and how many billions there are globally. So you need to have those products in your store. So shame on you, all the stores that Pam went into and didn't have that in there. All right, got one more telephone call real quick. Let me go ahead and grab that too.
Even if let's say like one person per week is looking for that 12 milligram, if that's a conversion, right? That's one new customer per week. Ain't nothing wrong with that, folks. Not to mention a potential life save too. Hey, Larry, let's hang out this week.
Hey, Larry, how's it going? All right, let me take this phone call. I'm sorry, my sinuses are really bad. 716, you're on the air with Phil and Dewey.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
It's funny. Good evening. I actually hung up, and then you guys were talking about exactly why I was going to call.
All right.
So I called back.
All right, get in, jump in.
I met Phil 5-6 years ago up here in Canada. You got a lot of Canadians calling tonight. I was calling just to thank you, gentlemen, and you hit all the reasons why I wanted to thank you. It was so early on, there was so little information. The couple of shops that were around I visited, and they didn't know what they were doing. But we found Phil online, and being, again, analytical, he told me how it was working, and I was able to figure out the devices that were available. Fast forward 5-6 years, again, older. Again, seeing Phil and yourself, Dimitri, I used to watch your show as well. Seeing an older gentleman being able to quit. My wife and I both were able to quit. And I'm about 4 months quit vaping itself as well.
Wow.
I have health. Yeah, I have health issues. That's why I quit. I was really trying to eventually get to this point, and I was able to. And I had all those problems. Early bad devices, early bad liquids. And then we went to DIY, not really, believe it or not, for any other reason except there was too much sweetener in the juices. And
I believe it.
So I want to thank you both for still sticking with it, because I have been yelling how important it is for sustainability alone for these places to support smokers, right? So I agree with you, and I thank you.
No, we thank you, and congratulations on your journey. And it just goes to show that vaping can help in a myriad of ways, including getting yourself completely off nicotine and completely off vaping as well, too. There's nothing wrong with that. To me, you're a success story.
I think that's terrific.
Yes,
and thank you so much. Thank you so much for calling in. I don't care if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years old. I don't care. If you smoke and you quit and you move over to vaping, you will feel improvements. You will feel better. It's never too late. It's never too late to quit. Never too late to quit.
But first, we'll be right back. A word from our sponsors. A nifty little piece from Joytech, the Exceed Grip, which I think, Phil, if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be your next review coming up, correct?
Yeah, if you put me on camera, you will see it right
Well,
now.
I can't because somebody jumped in the room and my whole shot has been messed up. So I have to restructure you now. But just give me a second and I'll fix you. Just 1 second.
Okay. Dimitri is fixing me.
I am fixing you right now.
I can feel his fingers running all over me as he fixes me.
There you go. I've got you now fixed up.
Hey,
yeah.
look, there it is. The Exceed grip. Yeah, I'll probably, I mean, this isn't going to be a full-on 𝗵𝗬𝗪𝗀. It's not going to be the full 𝗬𝗪𝗀. But this is, I think I'm going to do a little boat ride. I'm going to talk about this from the boat. So we'll go for a little boat ride with this guy and talk a little bit about it. Okay. So yeah, I got this. I want to thank Lunar Rover. Lunar Rover's always been hanging out here and answering questions and taking care of people. If you use the coupon code 𝗵𝗬𝗪𝗀 or the Smoker Show, you're going to get 15% off your order with Lunar Rover. I have been enjoying personally. This has been my hot tub rig right here, and inside my hot tub rig right there, I have some of the Lunar Rover. What is this? The bourbon peach. This guy right here, the bourbon peach, and really digging it. You got that? It's a. The only way I could describe it, it's like a mature flavor because you get that bourbon flavor and you get that little bit of a peach, like fruitiness from it. Just a really, really delicious e-liquid. And what I like about the Lunar Rover flavors, I feel very, very comfortable when people call into the Smoker Show, sending Lunar Rover their way because they have some really good tobaccos and they come in 12 and 18. Right. So if somebody tells me I'm smoking 2 packs of Marlboro Reds a day, they get the 18. Okay, so thank you, Lunar Rover. Good stuff here.
By the way, I don't want to toot my own horn, but that peach bourbon was something that I pushed for when they were creating these flavors back in 2014. I think it was 2015 or something, because the company that I work for co-packs that liquid and does a fantastic job with that peach bourbon. I'm really, really, really excited. But another thing that I want to bring up from Canada is the Juul factor. Right, this is a really, really funny story. You guys, I mean, you've probably seen this all over the place, but I just want to discuss it real quick since we have the opportunity here. Saturday night, after we got done with the FlavourArt, we had just an amazing meal at a Chinese restaurant there. I think it was called 𝗃, M-A. And me and Phil went back to the hotel, and the hotel is attached to the casino. We're staying at Niagara Falls on the Canadian side. So me and Phil went down to the bar at the casino to have a few adult beverages, as all adults would possibly do at that hour. And we're sitting at the bar having a few drinks. You cannot vape in Canadian casinos, by the way. You go across the falls to the American side, of course you can vape and you can smoke. But on the Canadian side, you can't smoke or vape either. So you have to go outside into a smoking section if you wanted to vape. But of course, we're kind of stealthing. We had our EQs with us and the beeps and stuff like that. And we're stealthing and we're sitting at the bar. And all of a sudden, these girls just show up out of nowhere. I'm guessing ages between 22 and 27, maybe?
No, 18.
No, they weren't 18. I mean, they're all professionals. They're all young professionals. I will say 21, 22 to 27, 28. It was just a swarm. I mean, it's like, at first it was 3, and then it's just more and more showed up. Next thing you know, there's like 10 girls around us. And we started this discussion. They're like, oh, do you vape? And I'm like, of course I vape. Yeah, that's what I'm here doing on business. And she says, what do you vape? So I showed her the EQ. I had a cute little EQ that had Lulu on it, printed on it. And she turns to me and she says, I Juul. Pay attention to what I just said. She didn't say she vapes. She says she Juuls.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, the other girl says, I Juul too, and then all of them Juul. The entire party, whatever it was, Juul. And I thought to myself, I was like, wow, that is really, really interesting that all these people, none of them said that they vape, but they actually used the brand name of what they were using to describe what they were using. Well, guess what? They grabbed my EQ. They grabbed Phil's EQ. I think Phil had either peach bourbon in it or coffee vanilla or something on his. And I had, of course, my icebreakers menthol stuff in mine. And they start vaping on it, and they loved it. They absolutely loved it. So me and Phil just had this long discussion about this, and we came to this determination, right, Phil? I mean, they don't know that there's something else out there except
no
juuling.
idea. They had absolutely no idea. I mean, they looked at the EQ. They're like, "What's that?" They were really curious about what it was. And then when they tried it, they were like, "Oh wow, that tastes a lot better," right? I truly believe that I don't know how that Juul marketing is reaching the youngsters out there, but they honestly don't know that there are other choices and options out there for them.
You know what's interesting is this is what I think that we're really lacking on education. And I struggle with this all the time with vape stores as well too. When vape stores tell me, well, we have to sell Juul not to make, not to lose a sale. And I get it. If juuling is a thing, then we can understand why we have a problem. We're not seeing this as a cessation product or to help people quit smoking. We're seeing this as a trend. And when there's a trend, yes, there is going to be uptake in youth. It's only natural. The other problem that I see with this is that if you're selling Juul products in your stores, again, I'm not against you selling Juul products, but I would not have them on primary display like I've seen in a lot of vape shops. Have the pods there available for people that want to buy them, but always make an effort to try to show them something different, because a lot of them simply don't know that there's a better option, that there's a cheaper option, that there's a more satisfying option, that there's more of an abundancy of flavor options, something that you cannot get with Juul. You get this mango, and that's pretty much it. And I think the mango is the only one that's selling from their flavored stuff anyway. But guess what? If you switch to an open vapor system, whether that be a refillable pod or something bigger, you're going to have a variety of flavors as well too. And a lot of them simply don't know. And I was a little bit discouraged, I'm not going to lie to you, to see all this young professional crowd really have no idea that there's other stuff that exists.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, let's not forget too, they see Juul everywhere, right? So they're going to see Juul in gas stations. They're going to see Juul in C-stores. They're going to see Juul in supermarkets. You're not limited to the vape shops. And that's just the distribution that Juul has. I wish that we had distribution like that. I wish that we had platform products in the Juul distribution.
Yeah, I know, right?
How amazing would that be? Also, I mean, take a look at some of the Juul television commercials. As a matter of fact, I just saw last night a Views television commercial too. Love or hate Juul, their commercials are fantastic.
All right, let me go ahead and just play this one here real quick, so we can see it. Let me go ahead and play this one over here so we can see it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Even in my own home, I had my own designated space to smoke. If I think about it, it really was like I was punishing myself. A friend of mine said, why wouldn't you just try the Juul? And so I went out and I bought one. The idea of going back to smoking, I couldn't even imagine doing that. I don't think anyone, including myself, thought that I could switch.
I mean, it's short and sweet, Phil, right? It just gets right to the point, and it just tells you, hey, this is what you're going to get. I'm an older consumer, and I switched from smoking to vaping.
It's basically the blueprint of what we have been screaming about for years now.
Yeah. Right.
Focus on the mature adult smoker. A little bit more adult, nice house, right? Like a professional. If that was the image that vaping had been from day one, I wonder where we would be today.
I totally understand that, and I totally struggle with that, especially when it comes to the cessation part. Because listen, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you, I've screamed at the top of my lungs all these years, but I want you to understand one thing. There is absolutely no dispute that the FDA, the American Heart Association, the American Lung Association, the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, there's absolutely no dispute that they know that this product is less harmful than cigarettes. Okay? No doubt whatsoever. However, there's a lot of money to be lost by people that are switching to vaping. And it's all going to be about money. Always going to be about money. Always going to be about money.
Yeah.
What Juul did very, very well is they found the weakness that we had, and we shifted our attention to the existing advanced vapor, and we forgot about the 40 million smokers that's still in the United States. And I attribute, along with the high content of nicotine, the concealability and all that kind of stuff, and the really great marketing, along with that, but I do attribute their success to the failure of our open vapor industry between the years of 2016 and 2018.
Totally agree. Hey, listen, I hate to switch subjects here, but I know we have a video to get to here. We have a couple special guests that we have to get on and start talking about Make the Switch. So, what do you say we go to FlavourArt North America?
All right, give us a little preamble to this video that we're going to be seeing.
Yeah, so Sean Casey and Richard Hong, and you'll see that in the video. I mean, they've been friends of mine for a long time. Actually, I think they might even predate you, Dimitri.
Wow.
And Sean kind of made the leap into leaving his business, leaving his career, and going into working with FlavourArt and creating a FlavourArt North America presence. And he brought Richard along. So they invited us to the new facility. The new facility is somewhere between Toronto and Niagara Falls. That's a pretty good way to describe it, right?
Absolutely.
The facility was amazing, and you guys are about to see it right now.
All right, let's play it.
Can I taste your juice?
𝗵𝗲, Director of Finance at FlavourArt North America. Welcome, guys. Everything here is brand new, and I'm not going to keep you too long here in the board office. Even though it's beautiful, there's a lot more for you to see on our tour. Interestingly enough, I'm also the treasurer of Big Brothers Big Sisters, Niagara North and West. Now, our territory spans from all the way from Grimsby to Niagara-on-the-Lake and southward all the way to Welland. Having the connection with Big Brothers Big Sisters and FANA, I implored Sean to start a new initiative, and that's one of giving back. So we've made two partnerships. The first with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and the second with World Vision Canada. So helping children in our own community and those abroad as well. We will be accepting donations on behalf of Big Brothers Big Sisters today. All the proceeds going directly to Big Brothers Big Sisters. And enjoy the rest of your tour. If you have any questions or want to get involved, please come find me at some point, and I'd love to give you some more information. My contact information is, you can reach me by email, and that is SMANNEL@FlavourArt.it. Flavor spelt the Canadian way with the U, of course.
That's right.
Or you can reach me by phone on my cell phone at 905-321-4631, and I'd love to give you some more information.
Pretty gutsy giving your cell phone out on this video.
I don't mind.
All right, thanks so much. Good to meet
Yep.
you.
Good to meet you as well. Take care.
All right.
My office.
This is your office.
We moved in here in January.
I think you need more screens.
Richard, the first time I met you was at Andre's shop.
Yes.
And you came up to me and you were, "Oh, hello, Mr. 𝗬𝗀, it's so very good to meet you," right? I mean, there was this whole shtick, and I was just excited to meet you. I'm always excited to meet everybody, right? And then I walked away from you, and somebody said, he's completely bullshitting with you, right? He speaks perfect English.
I remember.
You remember that, right?
Yeah, I do.
And then, of course, you were 𝗀𝗵𝗃 in the illegal vape videos, right? Which we hope
Make
to
it late.
Make it late.
$900 I make for you 37.50. Just buy 10,000 pieces. We shipping to you so quick. 10,000, you sell so fast. Make it lane. Okay, I will seeing you again soon.
I am the vice president.
Vice President
Yep.
of FlavourArt North America.
Yes, I am.
Oh, you've come a long way, baby.
Thank you. It's definitely a dream come true. It was an opportunity that literally falls into your lap once in a lifetime, and both Sean and I kind of jumped off that imaginary cliff edge, if you will, to leave exactly what we were doing and start this unknown opportunity and work hard at it. But it's a passion that obviously every single one of us have in us as vapers, is to do something for the community. And obviously Phil B, he's like an idol of mine, right? I spent so many hours watching him in bed. My wife recognized his voice coming off the phone from across the room, and it's just been so great to get to know everybody in the industry and to do something that positively impacts people to quit smoking.
I don't know anybody who's more liked in the industry than you are.
You?
Well, no, I don't know about that, but I always thought you were a terrific guy, and I'm so happy and proud. I mean, compared to where you were then, compared to what what you've achieved and accomplished, through hard work and everything. So you deserve it, man. Congratulations.
I'm blushing now.
No, you deserve it. You're a good guy.
Obviously, we have the Make the Switch marketing initiative / program that we're going to be launching in partnership with Inikin, the platform series, Phil and Dimmy. We have great expectations that this will change a little bit of the mindset of vaping to a more conversion focused, where we all started from and where we believe it needs to go back. On top of that, just always producing flavors that are responsibly sourced, that are scientifically tested and emission qualified for vaping use specifically, just to do what we do and try to keep everybody happy.
Absolutely. We lost our way a little bit. Time to get back on track.
Yeah, we did. But as everything is a wheel, we lost our way, and now we're, turning that wheel around. Hopefully we can get back on track and focus on saving lives again.
Well, let's go check out the rest of the
Yeah,
building.
sure. Yeah, let's go. Click that, releases a mag lock.
Welcome to my back cave, brother.
Oh, you're kidding me. You really do have a bag. Look, are you kidding me? Look at this. It's funny because we were just, we did a live on the way over here, or a quick video, and we were talking about Batman, and Dimitri wants to be Batman of all the superheroes.
Why not?
Well, because Batman can't fly, really.
If he could be Phil Basardo or Batman, be Batman. I say that like literally daily. So my warehouse manager, $30,000 handicap bathroom with every thing, including an alarm bell and a microphone that goes to 2 other desks.
Really?
Yeah, food grade facility. We clean our floors twice a day in here, but ultimately nothing is open in this facility, so nothing can be contaminated in this facility here. This is just for come out of production and go. At this stage right now, of 130 flavors that I have under my 𝗃𝗵𝗲, we manufacture 80, which is about 90% of what we sell. What you see on shelf is stuff that doesn't move fast. Other than that, it's build it, ship it. Okay. Right? And we can pretty much turn and burn unless we get, crazy ass orders, which we do all the time, right? Like some guy just ordered 20,000 kilos of one flavor. I don't have that sitting around, and it'll take me maybe a week to build that. But he understands that, and he anticipates that. But apart from this, the stuff on shelf here is just slow mover stuff and stuff that we still don't build. I still don't build all my tobaccos, right? It's a very, very complex process requiring a lot of nets and things of that nature that Max single sources in Italy. So I still don't build all my tobaccos. So I have tobacco that I bring in from Italy. Still a number of flavors, but right now about 90% of what we sell we make. Okay. And it literally, order comes in, a lot of it's forecasted, so we know, for example, XYZ company, will always be ordering 1,000 kilos of lime or lemon or strawberry every month, so we can pre-build on forecast, which is great. Everything we have that we sell is under our 𝗃𝗵𝗲. And has gone through our full clear strain. There's no reason to go through anything anymore, right?
Has Max seen this?
Yes.
Does he
multiple times. Yeah, loves it. He cried. Okay.
Did he really?
Yeah. Last time him and his wife, were here, which is the end of the year. They literally walked in here and started.
Now, did he cry because your office is better than his, or?
No, you haven't seen his new office. His office is pretty nice. No, he cried because, for Max, the realization, that a little tiny company working out of his basement 14 years ago has grown beyond what he ever anticipated it would.
Sure.
Okay, and he's a pretty humble guy, right? He gives back a lot, as we do, right? I mean, we're following the same path, okay, of taking very good care of employees. We invest heavily now. Okay, we've created the FANA Foundation. We're investing heavily back into charities. Okay, everybody in here is part of charity development. We're doing a 6K today. We're doing a software game marathon. It's a 72-hour Zelda marathon. Okay, that we've sponsored to raise money. This for the Big Brothers and Big Sisters charity. So we support local kids and we support through World Vision foreign kids. Our attitude is you can't fix stupid and you can't fix adults, right? So we can help kids though, right? What you've seen so far is just basic stock. This is bottle stock, so we go through a 53-foot truck that comes in every 2 to 3 weeks, okay, full of bottle stock that empties out and is built through and sent out. We use, obviously, just like Italy, a very, very high-spec grade of plastic in here. It's not only needs to be BPA, but it needs to be the top food grade, and there's a lot of food grades out there. Max is, as you guys both have met him and know him, he's extremely detailed and very, very onerous on quality, and so we have our plastic made for us. We have our own spec for the bottle. We have our own molds, right, for durability, for that it doesn't leach. There's some of this stuff, the flavors in concentrates that can be somewhat acidic, and some can be very caustic, right? So as everything goes into there's no wood that goes into production. So that door opens in the morning to load in, okay, bottle stock. Okay, it comes out with finished production, and once that door closes, it takes 15 minutes for that air in there to condition to our perfection, which is right now, if I spec'd it, would be ISO 5, but the whole facility is ISO 9001 HACCP GMP process facility. We're also a food grade facility, so we're also food inspection, Canada food inspection grade, because still in Canada, unlike the United States, we're a food. In the United States, we're considered unfortunately, a tobacco product component, and we are registered with the FDA with all of our numbers as a tobacco product component. We're not hiding as others are, okay, under the guise and pretending that we don't exist and we don't sell to vape companies, which a lot of people do. This, okay, is an 80-ton HEPA filter. I'm pretty sure it's the largest HEPA filter you'll ever see for a clean room. We not only work, okay, to the understanding of ISO 5, okay, environment, because we believe that we'll be dealing with pharma grade clients, not only in this world, but for sure in the cannabis world as clients. So it's preparatory, it's overkill right now. So you'll see that this big tube, how it goes into our clean room in production and then vents out again. It's crazy overkill.
Please don't break the scooter.
We're probably, as far as we understand, one of the few single compounding and molecular builders in the world. A lot of companies are partial manufacturers. Some of them are rebottlers and do nothing. A product is distinguished, and although not remarkable today, because it doesn't mean anything to anybody, but we were the first ones to identify and remove Nicotones from our product in 2011. When I first met Max, is the first time you and Dimitri might have met Max, which was VaporCon 1 or 2, right? He came over there so proud that he had spent all this money, on Peloso and Farcinilos, and that he was so proud that Farcinilos made him understand something that was meaningful, that this was an avoidable risk, an avoidable risk. We continue to invest into research and quality standards. We don't sit by. We never accept that the best of today is what the best of tomorrow is. So there's a constant reinforcement for improving quality. So this is obviously gowning room. Okay, this takes us to ISO 7 for sure as a requirement. Street clothes off. They have shoes specifically that cannot be worn anywhere outside of this room. And then leading on through lab and production space, which is all a clean environment. $200,000 𝗀𝗵𝗲, the best that we could find. What is 𝗀𝗵𝗲 for us right today? It's every component that we buy to build a flavor is tested internally. Why is that important to us? Because right now, under GMP and ISO, without that, I would have to basically hold every product until I sent it out for testing as it came in, and that can take 2 or 3 weeks. And you can't trust anything and anybody in this marketplace. Even the biggest companies you have to test, and you have to test it against, I have to test against what Italy does, right? So I have very, very exacting standards from Italy, so they're constantly doing this. So Danny is a biochem grad at Brock University. He started with us part-time in the summers, loved working here, and today he's our quality manager. A quality manager in our world has veto power over me, right? So if it doesn't follow into ISO GMP HACCP the way he sees it, okay, it doesn't matter what my greed factor is, what my bitchy factor is today, he can literally trump, everything. So secondarily, Japanese instrumentation for refraction, density, a number of other parameters. And even in those base parameters, after all you see that I go through to ensure perfection and consistency with no human error in the manufacturing of the product, I can very quickly see key indicators that would say, wait a second, mango does not have that density. And we've caught things, quite frankly. I'm not proud of that, but I'm proud of the fact that it got caught before it went out our door. So as you note, I'm probably a little bit overtly a motivational freak. And I believe in any quality operation that continual motivation and reinforcement of quality values is very important. So you'll notice, like literally penned on every wall in this whole place, our favorite sayings of Max and I that one night that we got drunk, we just started looking through things, whether it was 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, or whoever it might be, we plastered all of this and made decisions. It not only speaks to our culture and teamwork, but the focus that needs to happen every day to continually maintain excellence in this place. Everything in this place is centrally controlled from a massive amount of servers that go through a very large ERP system. So we went to a very big system. We also decided that automation was going to be everything in here. So everything is completely automated. Anything that can be automated today, except movement of bottles in and finished bottles out, and I've already hired the top beer company, Labatt's is a big company in Canada. I've already hired their top engineer to completely automate what e-liquid companies would know as a 𝗃𝗃𝗏𝗏 system. We have a system already engineered, getting ready to be put in now this summer, which will literally automate this whole process. That bottles will come in, bottles will automatically be cleaned, automatically be filled, and automatically go back out. So I don't even have to open and close that door and break even a half an hour of production, which will be critical. So this room, is completely controlled. And then if you look at the vents all the way around here, this air changes 45 times an hour, So I'm air conditioning and paying literally a town's air conditioning electrical bill to keep this place cool, and then I'm immediately sucking it back out again, right? So we turn the air to right now to an ISO 5 level. We don't need to, but we believe that eventually we might have pharma-grade customers, and when we get to that level to have to be able to qualify for their specifics, we might as well do it now. The second reason is humanitarianly, I have chemicals that create flavors on that wall that are so odoriferous that worst case scenario, 25 kilos, smash, opens on the ground, the worst of the worst. Everybody here would be unconscious in 3 seconds. Now you would die with the smell of beautiful blueberry, on your brain as you passed out, but you would pass out and die. So to deal with this, because I'm not making e-liquid in here, I'm making flavors with very odoriferous molecules, right? So if I didn't invest $600,000-700,000 into this system, all my guys in here would be wearing N100 masks, full face masks, and they'd be living in hooded E2 or environmental level 2 suits all day long. And you can only imagine in the middle of July or August what that job would be like.
So again, the super concentrate, what comes out of Roxanne, that still comes out of Italy.
Everything comes here from Italy.
And that comes here, and then it gets...
And then we take super concentrate, okay, and we add about 25 various things to it. We add PG, we add reverse osmosis water to it, and we blend it into its final concentrate formula sold to e-liquid companies. Okay. All of this stuff is custom. All of this was pre-engineered. We worked with Mallet Creek, who's the leading engineering company for liquids in Canada in the food commercial world. So all of this was highly engineered. This is a master control. So from our ERP, okay, down to here, these guys really are making very few decisions. The schedule is already laid out, okay? The formula to build this is already in here, okay? So they're literally just picking a tank, okay, looking at the schedule that I'm gonna say build 500 kilos of strawberry. Right now, Owen's guys would be told, Owen overseeing them, right? It would automatically start the process. It would tell them exactly what goes into that formula. The water comes in, the PG comes in automatically into this vessel. Okay, whereas when you saw in Italy, they would actually bring a tote over, and you'd see some guy, that's got it, okay? All that's gone.
It's all automated.
It's all automated, okay? So it knows exactly in the recipe, not only what goes in the recipe, but it says I heat PG to 135 degrees for 10 minutes. Then I add, okay, X. Then I add Y. Then I mix for 15 minutes. Okay, then I cool to 80 degrees and mix slowly for 10 minutes. And then that's the recipe finished, boom, and it tells him that everything is done. But largely what's in here is nothing more than a heating element, okay, and a big mixing blade. But it's variable speeds, right? Variable heats, obviously all stainless steel. Anybody that's Canadian in here would know this sound, okay, as beer came down, okay? So this is very much designed for human dynamics and mechanics that I don't want anybody to bend. The most I want them to do is grab from here, put something in here. Grab from here, put something in there. So there's no bending, lifting, or anything strenuous. Obviously in Canada we have a very, very strict workman's compensation set of regimes for safety and occupational health and safety.
For all the people who are watching, obviously for everybody in the room right now, it's very obvious, right? But you don't make e-liquid here, right? You make the flavors that go into the e-liquid.
That's all we do.
That's all you do.
Yeah, and specific with a specific purpose.
Sure.
You know, in Italy, that we're one of the larger e-liquid manufacturers there. We have retail there. We own distribution. We have Chinese manufactured devices, and we co-pack. Here, the premise and the agreement between Max and I is that I want to be friends to everybody, enemies to no one, and basically just be the flavor guy and focus on supporting the industry.
And what about the giant tank?
So the giant tank is propylene glycol, or PG, which is automatically fed into these machines. So that's 35,000 kilos or liters propylene glycol, stainless steel custom tank.
And I think there's some people understand that, some people don't understand that, but PG is the carrier for the flavorings, right?
It's the most necessary carrier.
Most necessary.
Okay, for stability and mixing, you just can't use PG, right, with flavors.
So you got the manufacturing floor right out there. You got kind of a fun area up here. What is this?
So this is production management space, offices, meeting rooms. It was dead space. When we bought this place, it was just a cardboard floor that we rebuilt the whole thing as we first went in here. As I said, the only thing that we kept were the exterior walls. We put in a new floor in the main floor, we put in new ceilings, we put in new floors up here. My guys and me put in the drywall, we put in the flooring, everything. So as we were building this, we were very cost effective and cost efficient, right? So we did it all ourselves.
You know, you've thrown out a few numbers as we've been working through the tour, and you threw out the numbers, some of the equipment and everything. But are you willing to say approximately what it costs to put a facility like this together?
Probably Max and I've got $6 million in him.
$6 million.
And I do want to thank 𝗀𝗃𝗧𝗵𝗲 and the entire team over there at FlavourArt North America for their hospitality and for opening up their doors and giving us a tour of the new facility. Very, very impressive, feel right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was very, very impressed. Sean, I mean, he's at the top of his game when it comes to that facility and understanding everything about that facility. It's just very, very well done. And I hope you guys enjoyed that tour. I am going to make the tour video on its own available for you guys on YouTube. That'll be up tomorrow. So if you want to check that out or share that around and show other people, that will be up on YouTube tomorrow.
Very, very excited. And of course, we kind of hinted at this picture here a few weeks ago when we were in Vape event in New York. And very excited to have here with us tonight two of the gentlemen that are going to be participating in this Make the Switch program. Of course, I am talking about Wayne Walker from DIY-or-DieVaping.com and our good friend, Mr. Richard Hong, also known as 𝗃𝗽𝗀 𝗦𝗵𝟏, Vice President of FlavourArt.com. Welcome, gentlemen.
What's up, man? How you guys doing?
We're doing wonderful. Thanks a lot for taking the time. I know it's late on a Tuesday night. I know all of you have a lot of stuff to do, but just really, really excited. And since we kind of went over this this weekend with you here in Canada, I think it's about time that all the DIYers out there get to learn the news first. So, Richard, I will start with you first. Kind of tell us about what Make the Switch is and what the program entails.
Oh, gee. Where to start? You all got another hour on your show for it?
Sure, absolutely. All the time in the world for you.
Let's sum it up to the bare bones. Make the Switch is an initiative that we've so graciously joined forces with not only Inikin, the platform series, Wayne, Phil, and Dimmy, to create a one-shot tobacco flavor for the sole purpose of conversion. How this ties into DIY is that it seems, to the credit of the DIYers and the unfortunate health of the industry, is that many proponents in the industry have lost focus on converting traditional tobacco smokers to vaping. Yet the DIYers seem to be the strongest movement to converting everyone to being those ground level advocates on convincing absolutely everyone around them to vape, handing starter devices to neighbors, to coworkers, mixing juice for them. And the most common question in many forums that we lurk in is that, hey, I'm trying to make a good tobacco flavor. Where do I start? I mean, everyone obviously that's a vapor already naturally gravitates towards fruit and desserts, and we kind of forget the tobacco vapors out there. We forget the importance that a tobacco flavor and an authentic tobacco flavor, we forget the importance of that profile to the newly converted or trying to convert smoker to vaping. So what we're trying to do here is involve the community, spread some news, reach the market on a very open platform called Switch. And this is a contest, essentially, open to anybody who wants to enter. And all you have to do is create a one-shot format tobacco flavor. And we are going to be having two categories, both very traditional. And when I mean traditional, I mean exactly like a cigarette, and flavored tobacco shots. And from this, we're going to draw some winners, or more correctly speaking, Wayne will be involved in the first round to be judge, jury, and executioner, and pick 3 finalists to move on to the second round. in which we have pre-seeded with some very established mixers in the community already. And those mixers and the 3 winners from round 1 will have the opportunity to compete with each first place prize winner, both in the traditional and non-traditional format, giving them the opportunity to win quite a large cash incentive to design FlavourArt's newest one-shot release of a tobacco flavor.
So in short, Wayne, I mean, I found it really interesting when we're having the discussion in Canada that the DIY community is actually turning a lot to tobaccos lately. So talk about your involvement and tell us what's going on in that chatter of the DIY world.
Yeah, we're kind of coming full circle in terms of flavor. There's a lot of trends in the commercial industry which spawn from the DIY scene. So you'll see a lot of the commercial industries will spit out yogurts, and it's mainly because the DIY scene was into the yogurts before that, and they were kind of messing around. And now I'm seeing a lot more trends towards more matured profiles like tobaccos, whiskeys, teas, and flavors such as those. And it only makes sense with more. It seems as the scene sort of matures, there's a lot more interest in pod devices, a lot more interest in higher milligram nicotine levels, and more in vapors that are just kind of done with constantly vaping down 3 milligram, constantly vaping down 6 milligram. We're seeing a lot more people mix up like 12, 18 milligrams of freebase nic, mixing it up in some sort of tobacco recipe or something of that nature, of like a matured flavor. And it's interesting because when Richard came to me with the project, I was like, this makes sense because it's kind of coming full circle in the flavor realm with these trends of tobacco, and along with the rise of the pod systems and the need for more of like an ignition in the DIY community. And I think a competition is one of the best ways to do that. So it's a marriage of all of that, which is pretty cool.
For those that might not know, Richard, what is a one-shot concentrate?
One-shot concentrate is, I guess the best definition would be like a pre-mixed set of flavorings designed to be mixed solely with PG, VG, or other solvents, and with or without nicotine, depending on if you vape with nicotine, to make it a no-brainer DIY maneuver. It's really a great way for new entrants into the DIY sector to be able to mix a successfully tasting e-liquid without having to purchase 50 or 100 different flavorings and try 30 recipes and get very discouraged. It's an easy way for long-term DIYers to just have something that works for them, or something that they can give someone else on the fly that's very easy to mix. And essentially, it's a shake and vape that you just pour your one shot in X percentage, you mix in anything that you want, you shake it up, and it's a finished e-liquid ready to go.
So for people like me, right, you'll get 2% of this, 3% of that. We don't need any of that. We just take the one shot, mix it with your PG, VG mix, whatever you want it, and then add your nicotine if you desire to, and you're ready to go.
Absolutely.
So Wayne, talk a little bit about your involvement a little bit more. How are we going to get the people in the DIY community to embrace this project more so than just the competition? I mean, obviously the competition is a nice incentive. You might possibly have a line that's out there that you've crafted, and there's obviously going to be financial rewards, and it's something that me and Phil can really get behind, because I mean, it's very, very hard for anybody to get out there and market, oh, we got a new tobacco line, or, in this space right now. So how are we going to get the DIYers behind it?
Well, I think DIYers just by nature are very competitive, and they kind of feed off of that sort of competitive nature. So I think it's just the competition itself is just going to appeal to them. And like I said, in terms of tobaccos, it seems like since it's already a trend that it's just going to kind of bridge over really well, and that it should be fun. I think a lot of mixers who would even be thinking about something like this are already drafting up ideas in their head and thinking about how they're going to try to take these flavors and twist them and do new things. Because when you get these sort of restraints and constrictions in mixing, a lot of really interesting stuff comes out of it. And I've done competitions before on my channel, nothing of this size with this sort of prize and this sort of backing behind it. And they've always done pretty well. There's always been a lot of submissions, and I expect this one to be even more so.
Phil, I mean, when we're discussing Make the Switch, I mean, obviously it's something that's very, very close to our heart, but we need to take this a step beyond just the competition, right, Phil?
Yeah, absolutely, Dimitri. And I do apologize to everybody that Dimitri has cut off the top of my head, but that's beside the point. First of all, I really do want to commend FlavourArt on this initiative, right? I think this is a great idea. I love the focus on getting back to conversions and understanding the importance of tobacco flavors, right? Because I think there are a lot of folks out there when they first start vaping, they don't care about flavors at this point, right? They might quickly step into flavors, but I think when they first convert, they just want something that tastes as close to that cigarette as possible, right? So I think it's a terrific initiative, number one. Number two, I certainly appreciate Richard and Sean from FlavourArt coming to us with this, right? When I talked to Richard about the idea, he said, you guys are the only ones that really make sense to bring this to, right? Because you have and always, you are now and always have been focused on conversions with not only our products, which is why we're doing the platform products. Actually, we believe at this point the Z-Coil, the 1.6 ohm Z-Coil, is going to be the reference coil for all testing and tasting that happens in this competition. But I appreciate Richard and Sean coming to us for this project, and I think it makes sense. I think it's a really, really good fit. So yeah, I think this is extremely important, and I look forward to what's going to happen here. Now, just to talk a little bit more about this, there's going to be the way I understand this is going to be two phases. Okay, so Wayne is really going to be focused on phase one. Okay, he's going to be picking the winners from phase one. Now, when we get into phase two, this is where Dimitri and I kind of take. And by the way, in phase two, Wayne can be a competitor in phase two. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So when we get to phase two, Dimitri and I are actually going to break off of the Smoker Show, and we are going to create a new show called Make the Switch, where we get the flavors, we try the flavors, we use the flavors, we discuss the flavors, and we choose the winners. And that'll be, like I said, that'll be a breakaway from the Smoker Show. It won't be done on the Smoker Show. It'll be done on its own show, okay? We're not sure of the name of it yet. Maybe we'll call it Make the Switch. But I think that's the way it's going to work.
Yes. So Richard, let's talk a little bit more of the specifics. Let's try to get a little bit more to the details. And I've seen kind of the preview of the website. You showed it to us kindly in New York, and I'm really, really excited about the way that the format is going. But kind of break it down a little bit more detail between phase 1 and 2.
Sure, and to preface, and I don't mean to, I don't know if I can say this on cam, but I don't mean to blow you guys, but there was a very specific reason why we chose Phil and Dimmy, not only for their long-lasting friendship that I've had with both of them through the many years and evolution of my own vaping path, but because they have been the staunchest advocates and the loudest voices for conversion. And they're the only ones focused. I mean, they have a show called The Smoker Show. Another reason was because we believe that part of the key success to conversion is mouth to lung. And with Phil and Dimmy's involvement with the platform series from Inikin, which has been a very strong company with always advocating mouth to lung devices, we believe that the platform series is the best hardware option to test these recipes and the most widely available, as they should be. So a little bit of history, and like I said, just to blow you guys a little bit here.
That's sweet of you. That's sweet of you. That's sweet of you, Richard. I wish you would have blown me in Canada, but okay, that's a different story. Let's go.
Papi, you get a pass anytime you want, my friend. So detail-wise, what we've done is we've created on our website, which is us.flavourart.com, a separate tab, and it will go live very shortly, where entrants for round one can create, I don't want to say a profile because nothing is saved, but they enter a recipe by submitting a short link URL from ELR or eliquidrecipes.com that they've created, and then that recipe is publicly posted. And so phase 1 is all public. The recipes will stay on our website for people to access and DIYers to go to and mix them themselves. Also, if you're ever needing a tobacco recipe, we want to use it as a reference point for everyone. What Wayne will be doing is he will be building all of these recipes and selecting what he believes are the strongest finalists. The first round will have 3 winners, and I'm glad to announce that we finally sorted out all the legalities with prizing, And round one winners will receive $500 each, as well as a care package so graciously hosted by Inikin with a retail value of between $400 and $500. And it'll be all of the platform series items in this care box, as well as $500. Round two will have obviously much larger prizes. There, we only are giving points to first place, the best in traditional tobacco and the best in a flavored option, and that will be $5,000 for both of those winners.
That's a lot of moolah there, Wayne. I mean, that's gonna it's gonna draw a lot of attention. I think that phase one with the open source type format, I like that because it does give the opportunity for people to get out there and try some new stuff as well.
Not only that, but the last few competitions I've done, sometimes because the mixing community is not that big, there was complaints like, there's a lot of the same mixers kind of coming up and getting involved in the competition. This first round, because already they've chosen a number of these consistent mixers and a number of these prominent mixers, they're already in that second round. So this round 3 is really open to anyone. I mean, there's really anyone that comes off the block that thinks that they can put together a really good recipe that's meant to convert smokers, that you have a shot. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and obviously you have to use FlavourArt flavoring. So there's FlavourArt is hosting the contest. I mean, maybe we didn't mention that, but obviously this is a FlavourArt contest, so you have to use FlavourArt flavorings to go with it.
I mean, we are allowing certain additives like acetylpyrazine, vanillin, ethyl maltol, and any kind of sweetener that you care to use. But remember, the sole focus of this is for conversion. We are not building recipes for vapers or DIYers. We're building a recipe that we can give any cigarette smoker on the street and have them say, wow, like that's pretty true to form to my analog cigarette. This is something that is not totally foreign to me. The platform series obviously replicates the physical sense of smoking a cigarette. And we're trying to replicate the taste and the feel of burning tobacco. So what we don't want to see is all the vanilla custard tobacco kind of standard profiles out there. I mean, there's bound to be a couple great ones, and that's why we've created 2 categories. But our focus will be on traditional tobacco, something that replicates a cigarette. Like I have spoken with the judges, and we've agreed that if we feel the need that we actually have to light up a cigarette to remember what it tastes like to smoke, so that we can be more accurately judging these recipes, then so be it. Because I've been vaping for 7+ years, and to be honest with you, I don't even remember what a cigarette tastes like. So we have to kind of bring ourselves back and refocus where our palates have gone.
Yeah,
Richard, I think it's important that you say that, right? Because I have my pack here. Dimitri, if you could switch back to the 4 cam shot. Dimitri, I still see Richard on the screen.
No, you're on the screen now. You're on the main screen.
So I have my stunt pack of cigarettes here. And again, I use this pack for the most important vape trick. There's only one cigarette missing. I will go back and taste this because I need to remember. Does that mean I'm not going to inhale though? But I think that's important. I think it's important to remember what that tastes like. What kind of a judge would you be if you're judging something that you're trying right now and you haven't tasted that for 10 years? I mean, that doesn't make any sense at all, right? So, for strictly scientific reasons, I am going to have to do some comparison. But I also think it's important that there are 2 categories, right? That there is a stinky category, which is, we want to recreate the cigarette as best we can. But also there's another category for, a flavored tobacco. And I think a lot of times when you try flavored tobaccos, you get a whole lot more flavor and not a whole lot of tobacco. So it's going to be really interesting to judge this competition. I'm very proud to be a part of it. A question for you, Richard. Is this open worldwide?
No, the initiative is only open to residents of North America. We've thought it appropriate, that being the North American division of FlavourArt, that we obviously create this program for North American residents.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And also to expand it a little bit more, I think me and Phil discussed this idea when we were in Canada. But obviously we cannot release new product into the U.S. market post August 8th, 2016, as it stands now. But it would be interesting to take the winning recipe, whatever that winning recipe is, and make it into a 10 ml bottle with nicotine for a European market. And maybe do a test in one of the countries. We'll be Italy, since FlavourArt is based there, or UK, or even Greece, my home country, and try to find 40, 50 smokers and give them this product and see how successful we are in converting. I think it'll be really, really good data, and it'll speak volumes to people that have made these recipes on what's the most important thing about us is obviously the conversion tool that we need to have here, but also speaks volumes to how successful you were.
Yeah, I remember when you brought that point up, and it is something that we actually spoke about in our operations meeting this week as being an initiative that we would heavily endorse. I think the data would speak miles for the success of vaping. It would kind of prove that, hey, to all e-liquid manufacturers out there globally, that tobacco profiles are not dead, that they are a very important part about the conversion process, and that we as an industry need to refocus our efforts, because the more vapers there are globally, the stronger our voice becomes. And in these times of regulation, not just in US and Canada, but all over the world, we need a very strong voice and a unified front.
And to be fair, I think that, if you look at the market now, there's a very, very limited amount of options. Obviously, we have Lunar Rover, which is one of our sponsors here, that has excellent tobacco, the BLK for conversions out there. But it just seems that there's not enough. And keep in mind, this is a global industry. We're trying to help smokers all over the world. And I know in some of the Asian countries, in some, China, Indonesia, Philippines, predominantly a lot of these people want authentic tobacco flavors. And trust me, there's billions of smokers in those countries, including India, that have not discovered vaping. They really want the authentic taste. And what we're seeing is the 3 milligram hard candy, hit the markets over there. And that's certainly not helping a lot of people quit smoking.
And you know what I like, Dimitri? What I like about what you said there is the authentic taste. Okay, it's difficult. I mean, we know this. It's difficult to recreate a traditional tobacco cigarette because there's nothing burning, right? So it's going to be very, very interesting to try these flavors and see what the DIYers come up with. And just on a side note, I've worked with very few DIYers. Jennifer Jarvis is definitely one of them, and I know she's here, so hello, Jennifer. But I mean, I've heard DIY or die, but it was actually really nice to hang out with Wayne and talk to him. We hung out at the event. We hung out and we talked at dinner. Super nice guy. So I'm really happy to be working with him.
Yeah, same to you guys, man. It was awesome getting to meet you guys. And yeah, like Rich said before, it's just there's no better couple to work with in terms of like a smoker's conversion product than you guys. So it's going to be fun.
What is going on? What is going on here?
You should use the other term couple.
Yeah, I know. We go to dinner and Wayne is with his wife and I'm with Phil. Guess who lost out on that deal?
Just to let you guys know too, they rip on Phil as much as you see in the videos. It's legit off camera really as well.
Yeah, we try to tell that everybody. Unless you hang out with us, you don't know. But it gets brutal at times, and a lot of the stuff that we can't really say publicly. Wayne, let me ask you a little bit about your programming schedule and how you plan on covering this on your channel, and maybe some kind of an upcoming programming note here for the next couple months.
Yeah, so I still have a few specifics that I need to get with Rich to kind of iron out, but there should be an update. I'm going to do a full video on all of the rules and how you're going to enter and all of that stuff. It should be this Thursday when I release my FlavourArt video. So you guys should see that this Thursday, and then you'll stay updated. You also want to follow my website, 𝗬𝗪𝗪vaping.com, as well as my Twitter or Instagram at 𝗬𝗪𝗪vaping to stay updated on any sort of news going on. And then throughout the competition, I don't know exactly how long it's going to take me to kind of get through a lot of these submissions, but I plan on highlighting a lot of the ones that I pick. So it might be a 3-week process where 1 week I'll pick one recipe, so on and so forth. Or I might kind of just update you guys throughout the weeks and then drop the 3 finalists in one sort of show. I haven't figured that out yet, but just stay tuned. on my channel and on my Instagram and Twitter, and you'll see what's up.
And Richard, as far as FlavourArt's concerned, do you see this expanding maybe in the future? Is this? I mean, I know this is kind of like a test competition, if you want to call it, but it does have a true cause behind it. Where do you see this going next?
Absolutely, Papi. I think that the make this switch is something that is not just a one-time go. I think as long as vaping exists, we need a focus out there on conversion, and that message needs to be repeated. As our memories are not like elephants. And so we foresee this to be an annual run. We hope that it generates enough attention that it can be an annual run. And obviously, FlavourArt has always had its roots in DIY. We are very passionate. We are members of not just the DIY community and the vaping community, but we are strong vapers and advocates ourselves. And we hope to be, part of the leading voice that you two, the couple of you, have so, graciously borne on your shoulders for all these years. We wish to help in any way possible to further the message of conversion.
Do you believe in your heart of hearts that, I mean, I really love the fact that DIYers are getting involved, because I do believe they're kind of like our last stand, especially here in the US, with a lot of the stores not carrying. I mean, there's great products out there. They just don't have that option in the store. Do you believe that the DIYers are kind of like our last Game of Thrones, protect the wall, try to bring more smokers and convert them onto the vaping?
I believe so. I in my heart of hearts, I know it to be true. All of us here have been vaping for more than a little bit, and I hope we can all remember that excitement we had when we first started vaping, how we show everybody, hey, look what I'm on, and this is called vaping, and this is what I'm doing, and I quit smoking. And the DIYers are really the last standing bastion, as I've said before. People who maintain that passion. I mean, constantly in all the groups and all the forums, we hear testimonials of DIYers converting their coworkers, their family members, their friends, showing them what's important, making juice for them, showing them that the option of DIY, they're not forced to kowtow to the market kind of demand that's out there that's currently catering to vapors, but giving them what they need, which is nicotine and traditional profiles that they're used to, and starter kits. And it's unfortunate, but the commercial industry has forgotten, has left behind the smoker. You walk into a store, and if you can't find a liquid higher than 6 milligram, there's a problem there. And there's a reason why, as Wayne had mentioned earlier, that we are slowly rotating back to mouth-to-lung devices and higher nicotine. It's because that's what we need. That's what all of us as ex-smokers need. We need vitamin N. We are addicted to nicotine. There's no question about that. And whether you choose to step down or not, I mean, that is what got you off cigarettes, was high nicotine mouth-to-lung style devices. And we need to remember that.
Yeah, I love that. And I want to jump in here because something has not been mentioned yet. Once again, I want to harp on the fact that there are two categories, right? The first category is a traditional cigarette flavor. And I think that that particular category doesn't get enough press in the vaping world, right? So when we hear tobaccos being promoted, it's typically not a cigarette tobacco. It's typically, it's a tobacco with rich nuts and vanilla, or it's a tobacco with caramel and something else, right? So I think there's been very, very little focus on just give me something that tastes horrible, just like a cigarette. So I'm really happy that category is there. The other thing that has not been mentioned is, we're using the 𝗃-coil, the 1.6 ohm, as a reference, right? We're also creating 12 milligram freebase e-liquid, which is something that, I hope comes back. There's an e-liquid company that Dimitri works with that is bringing a new line of 12 milligrams out. Dimitri talked about 12 milligram life, which I love that. If there was a t-shirt that had 12 milligram life, I would wear that t-shirt. But this is something that we've seen in the industry. We've seen 0.36. You go to a vape show, you try something that you really like. Can I have it in a 12? No, you can't. You're out of your mind. 12 milligram, that's so high. 0.36. And now all of a sudden, 0.3650. I mean, what the hell happened? You know, and even if it's not 50, if it's 20, 30, and 50 salts, what happened to the 12 milligram freebase? What happened to the 18 milligram freebase? Because those e-liquids were so successful in converting smokers not just a few years ago.
Wayne,
right?
do you see the same thing, Wayne? Do you see in the DIY community as a resurgence of 12 milligram?
Yeah. Also lower level salts. So people will buy salts, but they'll mix it at like 16, 18 milligrams. They're not mixing it up at 24 to 50 milligrams. And right now, if there's certain juices or certain flavors that you like, but there's no need for you to vape a 3 milligram or a 6 milligram, you can't get it commercially. You have to mix it. That's the only way for you to get that product. And I think a lot of mixers are coming in because my channel and my groups have consistently grown throughout the years, and it's always a huge percentage of these members are just kind of fed up with the commercial market. They did, a lot of the vape shops around here, they all sell the same stuff. It's all fruity stuff, 3.6, and there's just no variety. It's all based on trends. And they want to go back to that Boba's Bounty that they had back in the day. They want to go back to these older profiles that they enjoyed. They want a little bit more variety, and they want them in different milligram levels that just aren't available. So for them to do so, they have to get into DIY. And I think that's where one shots are starting to become really popular, are for these people that want their cake. They want their cake and eat it too, and you can really only get that in DIY.
And that's really, yeah, Tom, of course, we know that there are shops that still carry, the full range of nicks, but we hear all the time that people go into shops and they can't find that.
Yeah, I have. You feel free to show me one of those shops, because I haven't seen one in a long, long time.
Well, Thomas owns a shop and he carries it, but it's just one shop in his area. There's 10 shops like that in the United States for sure.
Yeah. But I mean, that's again where I commend the DIY community, right? Because you've got a smoker friend who goes to a shop who can't find what they're looking for to be successful. Then you got the DIYer saying, I'll mix something up for you, right? Let me ask you this, Wayne. Have you been involved with conversions? I mean, have you been involved with helping people successfully get off of cigarettes because of something that you've made?
Yeah, my wife is probably the best example. She was a very heavy cigarette smoker, and then I switched over to vaping. And it wasn't until I was able to kind of fine tune one of my recipes for her to really enjoy it. And then it's one of my one shots. It's the pistachio RY4 that she loves. It's a tobacco. It has a little bit of a bakery note to it, but she loves it. And that's what helped her move into the vaping realm. And my father is another one, mixing him up this special bubblegum flavor just allows him to kind of have that buffer when he can't get his juice from a shop because they don't have it at that weird nicotine level that he likes, So the DIYers are definitely out there, passing these recipes along, mixing them up for their friends and trying to get them off of these smokes.
Awesome.
12 milligram life, baby. It's making a comeback. Make the switch. Brought to you by FlavourArt. And of course, DIYOrDieVaping.com and the lovely folks at Inikin that stepped up to participate in this. I think this is a very good match made in heaven for everybody involved. And hopefully, yeah, look at that. Look, like Wayne has one and I don't have one. What's up with that, Poppy?
How did you not have one? I thought I gave you.
I don't know.
Well, that's because Wayne stole one out of Richard's office.
He probably did. He probably did.
There's one less prize now. No, we really want to thank Inikin. I mean, Poppy, when you mentioned, was there a future for this Make This Switch? Inikin has always maintained a very strong relationship, not only with us, but with its focus on MTL and conversion products. We hope that if this first round of Make This Switch is very successful, we hope to enter into long-lasting partnerships with Inikin and the Platform Series and you gentlemen to do more and bigger and better things. Inikin has always been the first Chinese company to step to the plate when it comes to supporting projects like this, and they have never lost focus on where vaping needs to go in order for it to be successful globally.
Yeah, I love that, and I appreciate that. And I tell you what, I would very much like to be involved in this moving forward beyond the tobaccos. And what's the most frustrating for me right now is I would love to go to Wayne And I would love to go to you, Richard, because I know you have the recipes. And I would love to say, you know what? I want to bring D back. I want to bring this flavor, this flavor, this flavor back. And I want to work with Wayne to develop a couple more flavors because I think Wayne can do it, right? And I would love to be able to create those flavors in a 50-50, 12 milligram and 18 milligram and just release them out into the market. But I can't do that. You know why I can't do that? Because I live in the United States of America where you can't do that. And that's fucking frustrating to me. That's really frustrating to me.
It is. It really is. Maybe we can get him in a one shot though. Maybe we can do that, I guess.
All about those loopholes.
But anyway, yeah, I think that the goal here is, once again, we create a product that's going to be geared towards conversions and help more people quit smoking, which is always ultimately everybody's goal. So with that said, gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time on a Tuesday night to join us here. Of course, check out Wayne's YouTube channel, DIY or Die Vaping. And of course, Richard, you can find him at FlavourArt.com or us.flavourart.com, correct?
Yeah, important that way. Otherwise, you're going to speak into Ricardo, who speaks zero words.
Ciao,
And
Bella.
By the way, a little frustrated, a little bit angry that Wayne's video and audio are both better than mine.
Yes. Well, Wayne is a professional, and he has professional video equipment, and he doesn't live in Cape Coral where you have 3 up.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
He also doesn't wear Skechers.
And he doesn't wear Skechers in public, for sure.
Like Phil here. One day, I will convince you.
There you go.
I will convince you.
There
to
you
buy a
go,
pair of
Phil.
shoes that
That's
look-
what you should be wearing.
They're very
That's what you should be
comfortable.
wearing.
All right, they're soft. They give you support, for your AARP limbs and your aging joints.
Wow, Richard. You know what, Richard? Do me a favor. I know what your weakness is. Sell those sneakers and buy your wife a real purse. Okay?
Poppy, that
Oh my God, he really put you on the spot now, buddy. I wasn't gonna say anything publicly, but he just threw you right under the bus. All right, gentlemen, thanks a lot for joining us. We certainly
guys.
appreciate
Thanks so
it.
much.
And
Thanks,
in the
everyone.
meantime, thank you. And in the meantime, we have another solution for smokers brought to you by Phil.
What are we doing?
Well, hold on a second. Let me get Here's what I would do. All right, here's what I would do.
Okay.
If I was Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Right, if I was Tom Cruise.
If you were Tom Cruise, which is it's a far stretch. I just want to put that out
If
there.
I
Yeah.
was Tom Cruise, here's what I would do. Okay.
Okay.
I would get a running start, like right about here.
Okay.
And then I would run. I would start running like this. I would
Okay.
run like
Okay.
I'm Tom Cruise.
Yeah, right.
And then right about here,
Right.
I would pull out my gun.
How would you pull you out? Yeah, let me see it.
I'll let you pull out my gun
Yeah.
like this. And then
Right.
be like, bam, 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 right there.
Right.
Because of the glass.
There's
right?
a glass there, right? Okay.
Bam,
All
bam, bam.
right.
And then I would jump. I would jump through the glass because I shot it
Hold
out.
on.
I shot it out.
So there's no glass here, right? You've
Because
already.
I shot it out.
All right, you shot it out.
And
Okay.
then as I was flying through the air, it would look like this.
Right.
Like that. Like
Right.
that.
Just like that. Let me show that to me one more time. I just
Like
wanna-
this, like this.
Right. Okay.
Like that.
So that face is somewhere mid-air right there.
Yeah,
Okay.
just like almost like it's coming to you because
Okay.
that's where the camera like this.
Okay.
Right,
Awesome. Right.
Then you see that little that thing.
The crane. There's a crane there.
Right,
Yeah.
I would grab onto that.
You would grab on that crane. Hold on. Let me.
See the crane?
The crane right there. Okay. All right.
I would grab onto the crane.
Okay.
And then when I grabbed onto the crane would start swinging around. It would start swinging around.
Right.
Until it got to that glass dome. You see the glass
The
dome?
glass dome, which is right down there.
The glass dome. And
Right.
then I would let go of the crane. And I would come crashing through the glass dome.
Right.
Crashing through right in front of somebody who was smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
And I would knock it out of their hands and I would say, try this. That's what I would do.
Stop smoking. Start beeping.
That's Tom Cruise. I would do that.
That was a lot of groundwork for a beep plug. I'll be honest with you.
But I think it was worth it. I was very excited 'cause I saw this whole scenario here because, I'm living in the ghetto on the other side of the hotel, and you have this beautiful room with this beautiful view and fucking air conditioning that works.
Coming soon, Mission Impossible, 𝗵𝗺𝗀 edition.
And I do want to mention that even though we were in Canada, no cannabis was involved in the filming of that video at all. This just straight up came from Phil. Quickly, a word from our sponsors, and we're going to be right back. Oops. What happened? What happened?
What happened?
All right, very excited to be participating in the Make the Switch pro. Yeah, just like that. Just like that. Just like that.
You know, like I literally, I walked into the room, I saw that crane outside. I was thinking to myself, you know what? If I was Tom Cruise, here's what I would do. And like, you know, sometimes it's just fun. It's fun, folks, to be high on life and joke around and laugh. And you know, when I thought, I'm like, Dimitri, grab your camera, grab your phone, and let's film this.
That was pretty awesome.
It was fun. It was fun.
That was pretty awesome. We wanted to thank them for the hospitality, of course, there at FlavourArt. We had a great weekend up there. And yeah, make the switch. I mean, we've been preaching it here. This is our 30th episode, Phil. 30th episode, believe it or not.
30 episodes under our belt. You know, I do see that there are definitely some people that are interested in getting their friends off of tobacco. 𝘃𝗽𝗶𝘀 is asking for us to. What happened to my head?
Sorry, I'll fix it. Well, somebody left the room, and I have to recut the shot.
What happened to me?
I'll fix it. Don't worry.
I'm here.
I'll fix it. I'll fix it. Give me a second. Everybody, when somebody leaves the room, I have to reshoot it.
I'm here. Okay. So, I mean, we are still taking phone calls. We do have about 10 minutes left in the show. Kathy, calling other people is not something that we you know, ordinarily do. Now I don't have a name. But
yeah,
people
I don't know where it went. I'm
fixing
that.
That's okay. It's okay. It's okay, Dimitri. It's okay. So if anybody would like to call in now is the time to do it. Wayne and Richard, thank you guys so much for joining the show and for the project, the Make the Switch project. We're really excited to be a part of that. And we'll be letting you know. We'll be letting you know through Facebook, through Taste Your Juice, through this show, through my videos, how we're going to move forward with that, and you know, when we'll be doing those shows. Okay, so that's that.
Where's your name?
Don't worry about my name.
Why'd your name go away?
Come on, they know who I am. It's okay.
Yeah, I know, but why didn't it go away?
It's okay. Don't worry about it. Let's just focus on the last 9 minutes we have of the show. Really.
Oh, I gotta fix this shot now too.
Don't worry about that shot. Just go
look at that.
two
I
of
made it
us
right there.
now.
All right. So oh look, I fixed that too. Oh, I got that one right there. That one's ready to go. Ready to go. All right. I'm gonna see if I have any questions here in the chat. I did see a couple of questions about a guy smoking a cigarette. I answered it in the chat. Just give him a little pod system with a higher nicotine tobacco strength. You can try 𝗀𝗎 BLK. It's a really good tobacco. And of course, Patriot from Naked is another good one that sponsors us here. Put a little higher milligram nicotine in a pod system or in a small tank. And when he's having that cigarette, just use that instead. Put it back down and then go back to your fruity deliciousness, whatever else that you are using or whatever he's enjoying and vaping throughout the entire day.
Right.
I don't think I have any more questions. I looked through all this. I know that Kathy was trying to call from Australia. I really don't know how to help her, but maybe I can bring you on through Skype on the next episode, and that way you don't have to call and pay money, Kathy, because it's definitely an expensive phone call from Australia to call
that's so
in.
nice of you.
Yeah.
You know, I shout me out, Phil. Okay, 34IS1, 34is1. I did talk to somebody online that they had some coworkers that were interested in quitting. I told them, you know, and they just, you know, I don't necessarily like when, you know, people get a hold of me in email and they just ask for product. I would much rather.
It happened to me on Twitter too.
Yeah, if you're interested in product, because believe me, we have plenty to hand out, both product and e-liquids from our sponsors. Just interact in the show, interact in the chat. We're trying to keep an eye on the chat, but most important is call in. Let us know what the situation is, and we're more than willing to help you out. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It just gives it a little bit more personal, you know, get us to know you a little bit as well too, and it also makes us feel a bit more comfortable sending product out to people. In fact, I had a guy from Canada.
The last thing we want to get into is sending product out to everybody who emails us. I mean, I don't think that would be fair to anybody.
No, and also, you know, we're lucky to have the sponsors that are able to provide this product for us, the liquid and the hardware that we have here available to you guys, and it's only fair that we kind of screen a list the people that are going to be receiving these, and also we also ask that you call back and give us a little update. And the update is very, very important. It's one of the reasons why I brought up that make the switch thing. Let's go out and give it some smokers and see how successful we are. Because I think it's very, very important for us to collect data of why vaping worked, but more important, so why vaping didn't work for you, what was going on. By the way, I do want to show everybody here that's watching the program, the best 600 RMB I've ever spent in China is right above my head. Just can't get
Look,
enough
it's
of
like
this
a
thing.
halo. It's like the Dimitri halo. It does take a little bit of time to what do you call it? To find its way a little bit.
Yeah. It's balancing out now, and then all of a sudden you're gonna feel magically in my fan, vape a beep. It's really amazing. It really is.
I have one too, but I have no idea where to mount it. I literally. Oh, it's not plugged in. Oh,
please don't kill yourself.
Yeah, there it goes.
Please don't kill yourself.
Dimitri's is much nicer than mine.
I have you like right above my head, and you have a picture of me with a middle finger. I mean, what gives?
I know. Well, because it's just me being funny. But I do need to figure out but there's no place for me in here to mount this where people can enjoy it and see it while I'm doing videos.
No, you'll have to find out another way. Here's a question from the chat. Just quit using a pod system. My son gave me, and I love it, but I'm having a problem. I was a chain smoker, now so I'm chain vaping. I think that's one of the problems that we're running into with this 50 milligram pod systems. E-cigarette does not have a beginning and an end, right? So people tend to vape it and sometimes get overnicked. They get dizzy. They get nauseated. Don't listen to all these seizures and all this stuff. I mean, overnicking and a seizure is two completely different things. But it's very, very important for your body to learn Ginger Girl. That's a pretty cool name, Ginger Girl. It's very, very important for your body to learn how to titrate nicotine intake from a vapor device versus a cigarette. A cigarette, you're going to light it, you're going to smoke it, it's going to end, you're going to put it out, then you're going to light up another one, just like you did when you were chain smoking. But vaping, you don't have that because it's constantly working, until the battery dies or you have to replace the pod system. So it's very important for you to understand your body on how, if you're going to vape a lot, you're going to have to lower a little bit your milligram content. That way you can, through the day, chain vape if you want to. I don't discourage chain vaping. It's another way of staying off cigarettes. But you have to control the intake of the nicotine in your body. So you might have to lower your nicotine, and you do that a little bit easier by using an open system versus a pod system. Especially the Juul does not have a lot of nicotine options out there if that's what you're using. Stuff like the Juno, which is one of our sponsors, does have lower nicotine levels. They have a pod system that has 18 milligram nicotine level inside. So you want to maybe pick up that to use if you're chain vaping. That way you don't overnick and get sick and get nauseated.
Yeah. First of all, yes, I have all my fingers after holding that fan. Thanks. But what you said there is really interesting because it's one of the main reasons why I don't like to go higher nicotine with whether it be a pod or even open, 30, 40 or 50 milligram. Here's why, right? I know how much I vape, but I enjoy vaping. I enjoy the flavor that I get. I enjoy seeing the vapor come out. I enjoy the whole process. For me, there's a pleasure principle involved with it, right? Now, if I go to, let's say, a 50 milligram, right? Maybe I'm getting more nicotine, but my fear is that I'm going to continue to use the product as much as I use the product now. Right. So what's going to happen is my body eventually is going to get used to that 50 milligram. And that's not something that I want to do. That's not, it's just, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be fiending on 50 milligrams all day long. So I will happily use my 12 milligram, use it the way I use it, enjoy it through the course of the day and not. Now, there is the potential where if you raise your nicotine, that you don't vape as much, right? I tried some pods, and what I found was even though I was getting that feeling, that nicotine feeling, right? I found that I was still vaping as much as I did when I was using my 12, which kind of frightened me. So I kind of moved away from it.
Yeah, and I think that's important. At 12 milligram how much you're going to vape throughout the day.
Yeah.
So you've balanced that pleasure principle with your nicotine intake. It's a very difficult proposition for people that are just buying Juuls that don't know that it has a 50 milligram high nicotine content inside and continuously vape it. For us, it was a journey. It was a process to learn that. And there's just not that much information out there. In fact, this is one of the big downfalls, I think, from Juul as well, too, not explaining their product a little bit better. And hence we are where we are right now with the government. But that's for a different show, not for here. But most importantly, just understand what your body needs to titrate nicotine throughout the day, and then adjust your milligram content down to that. You do that much, much easier with an open tank system where you can just refill. You can put 6 milligram, or you can put 12 milligram, depending on what your body wants, and you can vape it through the day and still enjoy vaping the way that we do. Okay?
Yeah. Does Ginger Girl have the same profile picture as Battery Mooch?
No.
It looks very similar, doesn't it?
No, but Mooch saw the facility earlier and he got aroused. He said he really liked that.
He did. He was very excited. I think anytime there's like automation involved or mechanics or electronics, Mooch does get very, very excited.
I'm glad that we gave you some pleasure tonight, Mooch. We certainly appreciate you hanging out. But anyway, yeah, that's all we had for you today. We certainly appreciate everybody that's hanging out. And if you have a smoke in your life, just pass on these 30 episodes full of wealth and information on smokers. But before we go, of course, Phil, we have to thank our wonderful sponsors.
Yes, we do. And I'm going to start off by thanking Lunar Rover because, again, Max has been in here. I know he's doing a little bit of spamming tonight, but
it's all right.
I appreciate him. I appreciate him being here and answering questions and helping out people. So thank you very much, Max. Thank you, Lunar Rover. Again, if you use coupon code 𝗧𝗵𝗲 or 𝗃𝗽𝗏, maybe even Dimitri Vaping Greek, you're going to get 15% off your order from Lunar Rover. And if you do have the opportunity, do check out the Bourbon Peach. I'm enjoying the hell out of this one.
Really good stuff.
And because I tend to stick with the liquids that I like, and then every now and then I'll sneak one in a tank, and I'm like, hey, you know what? That's pretty good. That's kind of the experience that I got with this one. I know they have a couple other flavors outside of their tobaccos still available in a 12 milligram that I'm looking forward to trying, especially after this one. Okay, so thank you, Lunar Rover. Of course, Inikin for finally making a T-shirt that fits me. Thank you, Inikin, and for being a sponsor of the Smoker Show. Juno, John, we saw John over at the FlavourArt facility. Thank you, John and Juno. My Vapor Store, if you use coupon code MTL10, you're going to get 10% off of the platform products that Dimitri and I are involved with. Naked 100. Been vaping a lot of Naked 100 lately. Really enjoying that too. Thank you for being a sponsor. Of course, our friends over at Five Pawns. They sent me their new tobacco line that I'm looking forward to loading up. So that's going to happen soon. And Joytech, the makers of this new little Exceed grip that I'm going to be having a little boat ride with. We'll take this out on the boat and talk about this little guy right
What else
here.
are you releasing this week? Aren't you releasing 2 videos?
Well, I'm going to release this video. The replay of this video is going to be up. And then tonight, probably after I get done with this and reposting this video, I am going to release the FlavourArt video too.
And then you have the Joytech box for a review. And what else? I thought that you had one more item for review that you're going to put out this week.
The 𝗃𝗽𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃. But I'm waiting on a battery. I need a new battery to test that properly.
And then eventually, I have it somewhere here.
I got a bunch of other stuff in too. Just the reviews. I think my time is better spent here doing stuff like this, and focusing on the Smoker Show. But there will definitely be more reviews, guys. Don't worry.
All right, thanks a lot for hanging out. Share this video with somebody.
You were looking for something behind you.
I was looking for the 𝗃𝗽𝗏𝗃𝗃 device. I just had it here.
I have one. Do I have one? I can get one real quick. Do I need to?
No, I got it right here.
You got it?
Yeah, I just want to show people that we will be taking a look at this. Me and Phil will be taking a look at this because we've found out about this technology 3 years ago, and it's finally on the market. Just something a little bit unique. I mean, I think it's just really bad timing on their part with all the pods being released. You released, basically a brick. But it does have a really cool feature where you can mix your nicotine and your flavor or mix 2 flavors together, and you can adjust the nicotine hit. It's something that we talked about earlier about controlling, your cravings and the nicotine intake that you can. On this one is fully adjustable. So we're going to be playing around with this, and we'll bring it to you here on a Smoker Show. Maybe we'll dedicate a show on this because I do really like the technology. It's just, I think, really bad timing on this company.
Keep in mind, first of all, Dimitri, go back to your full screen and show the size of that next to a beep.
Okay. Just a second.
Okay, do that. And then, I'm liking the 𝗃𝗽𝗏𝗃𝗃. The one thing that I'm missing from the 𝗃𝗃𝗏 is a charge port, an easily accessible charge port.
Yeah, people said the beep was big.
It's big. I know.
But I mean, if you put out with what's happening right now in the industry with stuff like this, you know, I mean, you can see that to me, I mean, from a cessation standpoint, I really like this idea, and I like this since day one when they told us about it. It's unfortunate that they ran into so many issues that it took them so long to put it on the market, and not the fact that it looks like one of those things that you take thermometer, your
Mowgli says it looks like a breathalyzer. I agree.
Or a breathalyzer, yeah.
It's a combination breathalyzer or a tire gauge. It's a lot of things. It can be anything that you want.
A lot of things.
The one thing that it's not, though, it is not, and I will not review this until I have the new pods, it is not mouth to lung.
Yes.
And in my opinion, that is a huge mistake on that device, because the device is designed to get you to lower your nicotine level. So if you have a high nicotine level, if you're using something with high nicotine, chances are you're mouth to lunging it. So why does the device not do mouth to lung?
Right. Doesn't make no sense at all. That is one ugly beast. Well, yeah, I know. I hear you. We still just want to have technology and products that help people quit smoking, even if it's a tire gauge. You know what I'm saying? You should see some of the stuff that we're vaping back in 2011. You'd really laugh then. Anyway, all right.
Don't say it's ugly, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
It's in the eye of the beholder. I do believe that. It is a little bit ugly for my taste as well too, but you know, we'll see how it vapes. We'll get to that soon. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the Smoker Show. Thanks to our wonderful sponsors. We will be back again in 2 weeks. Hopefully, I think we're going to be in New Jersey at the next show, by the way. We might have to do something. We might have to do something together from your mom's house. That'd be cool.
That's all right. We could do that. The internet is better there than here.
Definitely better than the internet's better in South Africa than it is in Cape Coral. Anyway, but thanks for if you like this show, please give us a like and share it with your smoker friends. We will be back again in 2 weeks. Have a wonderful evening.
Bye, guys. Good night.